post this on YouTube, I get some credit, okay?
Oh,
Good afternoon.
afternoon.
I'm here to talk to you about the issue of homelessness in America, and I am aware that this is a topic that is talked about a lot, and it is also a topic that is brushed under the carpet a lot, so we don't have to see the reality of what's going on around us. As long as we're comfortable, as long as we're fed, as long as we're warm at night and have a roof over our head, we don't really worry about what's going on around us, or we do, but we don't put enough emphasis on that. So I'm here to talk to you about homelessness in America. As of 2010, the estimated amount of people who were homeless in the United States of America was 750,000. And that's men, women, and children who are misplaced, either staying in shelters or hotels or wherever they can find a means of staying. And the children who are misplaced, the only meals sometimes they get are the meals that they get while they are in public school, because they come home and have nothing. As of 2011, this number nearly doubled to about 1.5 million people in the United States who are currently homeless or misplaced. It's a lot for 1 year to double that. The average homeless person has to pay $9 a night to stay in a homeless shelter. That averages out to about $270 a month for a homeless person to stay at a shelter. I don't know how they expect homeless to afford this, being that they can't get a job, they don't have any money, so they wind up on the streets. And they wind up finding shelter wherever they can. Due to lack of government funding and lack of volunteering from people within our communities, a lot of these shelters, which there's not many shelters available to people, wind up closing their doors because they can't stay open because they don't have the means that they need. So they wind up sleeping on the streets or wherever they can find shelter. And a lot of these people, you know, you look at them and judge them and you think they're lazy, or they made some bad decisions, or, you know, who am I to want to help these people? I have what I need, they need to make their lives right. The only difference between these people and ourselves are a few bad circumstances. And I learned this the hard way because almost 3 years ago, I wound up homeless myself. As a mother of 3 children, I had to make the decision to send my children to live with their father because I had no shelter to provide for them. And I thank God every day that during this situation, which was the most humbling situation I think I've ever been through in my life, and that is a lesson I will keep deep inside my heart, is that I had someone who loved me and stood by my side to help me get through that, to know that that wasn't where I was staying. I could rise above that. But not everybody has somebody next to them. A lot of people are lonely. If you looked at this man here, and he came up to you and said, listen, I'm hungry, I need some money, can you give me any kind of handout, would you judge him and say that, I'm sorry, he could do something to better himself, I don't have time for this, whatever it is? Well, I would like to introduce you to Rick. Rick is a person who is homeless, and he has 2 master's degrees. And with his 2 master's degrees, one of them is in business management, and the second one is in engineering. The only difference between Rick and us is that 4 years ago, he had everything he could want in life. He had a family, he had a home, he had a job that he loved, but due to bad circumstances, Rick's wife and daughter was in a tragic car accident. And both of them, his daughter at 4 years old and his wife, wound up being put on life support. And so he had to make the decision to disconnect his wife, and knew that his daughter was in a complete vegetative state and it would be a matter of time before he had to take her life as well. And as a father and as a husband, that's a major burden. So between all the hospital bills, all the time out of work to take care of his family, he lost his home. He lost everything that meant anything to him, and he now sleeps on the steps of the Baptist Church in downtown Orlando because it's the only place the police can't touch him as illegally sleeping or loitering. This woman, her name is Maria. She's pregnant with twins, and she also sleeps on the steps of the Baptist church in downtown Orlando. She has nowhere else where she can go. She can't find a job because she can't get correct documents, because we all know how hard it is to even get a driver's license if you don't have down to a blood sample. These people are helpless in terms of finding what it is that they need. This is Jerry. Jerry moved down from Gainesville because he had no work. He was hungry. He didn't know what to do. He has no family, so he took a chance, came down, and is slowly but surely getting things together and getting a job and doing what he needs to do. This is Terry. This is a woman that I highly admire. She was addicted to methamphetamines, which, you know, I'm sure everybody's aware through either talking about it. That is the harshest drug that you can come to within the United States. Like, that drug takes over your life and little by little takes you to the grave. Terry decided that she wanted to move from the circumstances that she had, which were not supportive of her kicking the habit, and she up and left with what was in her bag to come to Orlando to kick the habit, and she did. She's 6 months sober, and due to volunteers and people who care and people who help, she now has a job, she now has an apartment, and she's making her way through life. So it's not a permanent situation to be homeless, it's just dependent on who in the community is willing to sacrifice their time to help these people who are no different than us. This is Aaron. Everything that you see on him, that's his worldly belongings. He has no roof over his head. He has nothing to keep him warm at night except for the donations that he got from the church. Let's not forget about the children. There are a lot of children, and you know, I see a bigger smile on her face than sometimes I see on my 10-year-old who has everything that he can eat and is still lacking, you know, and these children are happy to have food, are happy to get their faces painted, are happy to get book bags, are happy to get whatever it is that they need, and they are very grateful for it. You're probably thinking, what can I as one person do to make an impact on the realness of homelessness? Well, you can join organizations within your community that have an impact on the well-being of your community, such as your churches or, you know, YMCA or, you know, other groups that focus on helping people who are homeless or less fortunate or misplaced. This is an event that goes on with my church, and we do it once a year. Transportation is provided by somebody in the church that will bring you from anywhere you want to come from to have a hot meal, to grab some toiletries, to grab a book bag, to grab some blankets, jackets, whatever we have. We have tents set up with all different needs that they may want. I love this picture. This is just a small glimpse of the several hours that the church fed. As many people wanted to come, and as many places they wanted to take home with them, they did. As many times as they wanted to come through the line, they did. But each and every one of these people here on the right side was one person who asked themselves the same question: what can I, as one person, do to make a difference in my community? 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 makes a huge impact. So there are things we can do. As an individual, you might feel overwhelmed and think there's nothing you can do. But as a group, you will see that there are plenty of things we can do for these people. Sometimes, even the smallest gesture, such as a smile, can make someone's day better. You know, this is Jenna, volunteering her time also at the church and making sure that this woman had everything she needed. All of her identification, everything that she had to her name that that could prove who she was, she wore around her neck 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make sure that it was safe. Sometimes sitting down with the person to have a meal and talking to them lets you see them beyond their shell. It lets them understand where they're coming from, why are they in the situation that they're in. Instead of us judging them and thinking that they're lazy, we can see that there are different reasons behind everybody's unfortunate episodes. This is a group from Full Sail University. All of these people are making a documentary called Homeless in the Magic Kingdom. They choose to volunteer their time to make a film documentary to spread on TV, to show to everybody who is interested the realness of homelessness in Orlando and in America. I feel that as a community in Orlando and every community throughout each state made such an impact, we could overcome homelessness. Every little bit counts. You know, these people are grateful for anything. This woman over here, she just went over to the tent that had some clothes. She doesn't even know if those jeans fit her, but she was so happy just to have a pair of jeans that she could wear because she had no clothing. All of these people here have a smile on their face, and they're grateful. And they're more grateful than I see in many people who have more than they need and still want. We have the youth of the church volunteering their time to face pain. You know, there's many differences you can do. In the Bible it says, do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by this some have entertained angels and don't even know that. When you do things and you do them for the good reasons and the good deeds and not for show and not for boasting, you're entertaining angels. I mean, that to me is an incredible thought, that all around me while I'm doing something good for my community, there are angels celebrating that. What you can do is collect basic essentials to donate, such as toiletries, clothing, shoes, blankets, etc. They all make a difference. These people are in desperate need of this. And when they came to the event at the church, they were able to get toothpaste, shampoo, things that they can't get normally. Both bags that are stocked with canned goods and foods that are not going to perish, something that they can have to take with them. It does not hurt to call a store or an organization and tell them what your purpose is as far as giving things to the homeless. And you'll be surprised at how many times you think, I'm not going to do this because I'll sound stupid, but the organization actually will say, I have 30 book bags, you can have them, come and get them. The only stupid question is the one not asked. This woman here, she goes to my church and she's a hairstylist. She donated several hours of her time during this event to cut hair for people who are homeless and want to go and do a job interview. And they don't look the part, you know, because they can't afford to go to even Supercuts for $6 when you get a haircut. She spent several hours and cut hair of a lot of people. This is just a short portion of the line that she had to go through in the day for people who needed that. But that was her talent, that was her skill, and that's what she wanted to donate. You can volunteer your time at a homeless shelter. Due to lack of government funding, which we all know in every state, in Florida, you know, we have no funding from the government. So it is up to us to either donate or volunteer our time to these shelters, because without someone to run these shelters, they're not available to people. And so, you know, the doors are shut. Every little bit helps. Don't just sit back and watch your country slide down into a place that they can't get back up from. Start a movement, you know, within yourselves. You know, you can go home and talk to your family, and there are things in your closet you don't wear anymore. There are jackets, there are things, blankets that you can donate, and you know, you don't have to go to a place to donate. You can find people who need this stuff and actually give it to them. And like I said, every little bit counts. The homeless are here if you look for them. Instead of sweeping the issue under the carpet, I ask you, that you take time out of your lives to volunteer, whether it's 30 minutes of your time on a weekend, or you can give a donation to a homeless shelter to be able to keep their doors open, or even talking to a person on the side of the street that usually you would judge, but this time you're going to give them a chance to see who they are and what they're really about. These are just a few of the organizations that are available online for you to volunteer your time within Orlando. Some people may live outside of Orlando and you can do searches within your area. And these are just a very few amount of research options that I found available. There's also options within your church and within your community that you can look for. Thank you.